Testing, 1, 2, 3. We are about 60 seconds away from the kickoff of the F through K National Summit. I'll be going into what that means in a minute. And for those people who have been with us for a while, I guess the reason you would check in is just to see if there's any new updates regarding, well, there are always updates, what new updates you may care about, because as you know, we are always moving the needle forward. Our spindle is continuing to spin every single day, every single second. So I'm going to give you guys the CEO's view on what we've been doing, what's happened, and what we can anticipate for next month as we continue down this path of living our way to victory, living our way in this victory and to more sustained victory. So what ends up happening here, it's 3 o'clock, is we always give gratitude to the ancestors, the people who came before us to put us in the path to where we are now. So we take homage to those leaders, and especially those whose last names begin with the alphabets F through K. So in particular, we want to pay homage to Brother Kwesi Harris, legendary Baba, whose whole focus was about helping our community from a health standpoint, which is one of the reasons why we started Thursday being Health Day, was because of his brother, who was also a professor at Chicago State University. We also have Brother Philip Jackson, Dr. Philip Jackson from Black Star Project, that his sister Gloria is still running that organization. And he's the birth reason why we created every Tuesday being Education Day, because of his feeling on educate or die. So, and there are many, many other elders that we could pay homage to, but we thank our creator and we thank those elders who came before us and allowed us to be where we are now. So I just want to shout out those names real quick. We have Lillian Fielder, North Lawndale, Mabel Flowers, North Lawndale, Cody Gibson, Barber Extraordinaire, Southeast, Southwest Side, Ralph Gooches, Southeast Side, Lorietta Grant, calling out her name. We calling out, talked about Kwesi already. James Setta Harris, calling out her name in West Inglewood. Jean Carter Hill, Inglewood. Imagine Inglewood if Pat Hill, superstar on the police side. We have Henry Jenkins, lived till he was 108 years old, West Inglewood. Bobby Johnson, Washington Park Queen nurse. Mr. Alvin Johnson, Woodlawn superstar. Greg Johnson, he had the restaurant down there on 43rd Street, right off the state. Leona Jones, daycare extraordinaire, West Inglewood. Shirley Jones, superstar, North Lawndale. And then Mayola, my auntie, who is special, who helped me to be where I am today. Gordon Keith, founder of the Jackson 5 out of Gary, Indiana. Lloyd Kelly, focused on health for us as a people. So those are just some of the names. Rochelle Coons, she was West Inglewood. Those are just some of the leaders, you guys, and we want you to add to that list. We believe we have to always pay homage to those people who came before us. All right, so now, for those who don't know, National Block Club University entire focus is about stopping the killing, and the killing that's primarily being done by us to each other. We care about all the killing of people, but we want to be real strategic and specific about what's happening in Black communities with Black people killing other Black people. If we are successful with that, it's going to make us as a human society more safer. So that's how important that is, that we see success in this mission. We've been around since November 20th, 1994. So we've been around the corner for a little while with this work that we do. We're in 20 zip codes in Chicago. Those zip codes are linked to 20 different cities. So we're in 20 different cities. Those zip codes and cities are linked to 20 different countries in Africa. And those 20 countries in Africa are also coordinated to manage and overview the G20 that meets every year. And that discussion every year is not about repairing the wrong of what they've done to Africa and all of the people from the diaspora, but it's about a continuation of extraction of those raw materials for those countries, corporations to continue to pay record profits to shareholders and to the officers and so forth. Totally wrong. And what we're going to always do is raise up what's wrong so we can make sure our people can know how to turn things around and take actions to turn things around. So here's the agenda. We're going to have several people dialing in. They're going to be coming on here throughout the day. And as they come on, there's a specific amount of information we want to extract from them. So they will, no one will be over 5 minutes. So as they come on, they'll be tapping in and they'll be making their spiel and speech, giving us some info, some insight, and then we're going to move on to the next topic and agenda. So I'll be coordinating the whole session, and then we're going to have breaks built into this. We have 3 o'clock until 3:05. We're going to do the roll call, so I'm about to do that. Then we have the what's good in the neighborhood. That's going to be the good news report. Then we're going to have the Mississippi report. We're going to be looking at what we're doing in Mississippi. Then we'll get into our youth and safety agenda. We'll be taking a break at that point at 3:15. And then we come back, that's when we'll get into the safety and the young people. So that's kind of the calendar, and it'll just continue down that path of the seven teams that we have and us talking about each one. And that should do it. We'll conclude this. What should happen on your end after we conclude is the information you're going to hear about, phone numbers, you know, write them down, get in touch with the people that you care about what they're working on so you can connect with them. And then next month is last names L, M, N, and O. So that's who will be coming up, and they'll be doing the same thing F through K is doing here today. So that's our format, that's our system, that's how we roll. And now we'll get right on into it. So first, the good news. I guess the biggest good news is I've been able to be full-time with coordinating this global structure since the beginning of this month. So at the end of this month, which is next Thursday, it'll be a full 31 days of 100% of side time being put on what we do globally. And I can tell you the good news is, number one, the availability to be available to do the work, the connections being made, the relationships being established. This last week, in the last 10 days, I've met over 60 people who have, in their own words, shared how they never knew we existed, and they're excited that we exist. Us to have this conversation to make sure people know about it. So that's how I see it. That's part of the good news. The other good news is we did our first training. That training is going to lead to other trainings that we're going to do, because that's the direction we're going to be going here shortly, is making sure that you guys have more insight on how to train other leaders about the 7-day living habits, the 8 strike teams, the spindle, things of that nature that make right now sense to our people. Like, this stuff can immediately have impact on our lives. And so we're going to make sure we're training other leaders so they can go out and train, and collectively we can start to move in a more synchronized fashion as a people, because we'll have more people trained and operating this structure and system that we have. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna pull up something I want you guys to see. So let's go to a break. This would be our first mini break here. And when I come back, I'm gonna give us that good news that I talked about. So let me put this slide up here so you guys can see how it looks for today. All right. So we'll be back in a few minutes, you guys. Thanks. All right, everyone. Your host, Cy Smith, is back. And now let's stop sharing this. I'm going to put up on the screen Mississippi. We are about to discuss Mississippi and why Mississippi matters so much. So let me go here and bring this up so I can talk about Mississippi and anyone that have relationships in Mississippi. This is what we need. We need to connect those dots. Okay, so again, Mississippi is the blackest state in the United States of America. For those people who say, why does race matter? You know, you got some black people who feel uncomfortable talking about black. So they say, why does race matter? Race don't matter. And I will argue race matters because Vermont is the whitest state in the US at 96.2%. Maine is the second whitest state at 95.5% white. North Hampshire, New Hampshire is 95% white. West Virginia is 94% white. Iowa, 92% white. Idaho, 92% white. Wyoming, 91% white. And Minnesota, 90% white. So why are we not saying, how can we have whole entire states whiter than no state in America being 40% black? Something is wrong structurally. So when people display or downgrade or don't pay homage to what Mississippi means for black people, I like to educate and put that out there so they'll know. So for us, the blackest states is DC 50%, but we know DC is not a state. So that's the challenge for us there. They don't even have representation the way they should in Congress. Mississippi is at 37%. We have Louisiana at 32%. That's the third blackest location. Georgia, 31%. Maryland, 30%. South Carolina, 28.4%. We got Alabama, 26.3%, and North Carolina at 21.6%. So as you can see, we don't have a state that we can call ours. That's a problem. So Mississippi matters, and I want to read to you outside of just the raw numbers why Mississippi is such a big deal. Then I go over the slide here. We have 108 towns in Mississippi, 108 towns in the entire state, Mississippi. And we have them in alphabetical order. So of course, it's too many to read off to you, but I just want to give you a snippet of what we've done to put Mississippi in a more winning position and a position that is going to attract people to not run away from Mississippi, but to run to Mississippi because of the way we're going to utilize Mississippi, which is as a hub and a base for all Black activity in the US and abroad. So we have Anguilla. Anguilla, and I'm only going to I read maybe 10 of these out of the different alphabets. So Anguilla manages all the DJs of the whole state of Mississippi. Arcola manages all our kindergartners for the entire state of Mississippi. Batesville, all our journalists. Slide to the next page. Brooksville, Mississippi manages all our carpenters in the whole state. Canton, Mississippi manages all our fifth graders in the state. We move over to the next slide. Clarksdale manages all our computer repair people in the whole state. We have Coahoma manages all our electricians in the entire state. Crenshaw manages all our chefs in the entire state. Crosby, all of our firefighters in the entire state. Durant, all of our lawyers in the entire state. Glendale, all of our seventh graders in the entire state. All Navy veterans is managed by Greenville, Mississippi. Hattiesburg got all our ninth graders. We have Ishola manages corn that grows out of the ground. Jackson manages all of our salesmen and women. Leland, Mississippi manages all our 12th graders. Marks manages all our second graders. So as you can see, this is pretty extensive. All unsolved cases, criminal-wise, is out of Natchez, Mississippi. We have all the technology professionals out of Port Gibson, Mississippi. We have Rolling Fork, which was damaged heavily by the tornadoes. All kindergarten through third grade teachers out of there. Centobia, all our auto mechanics in the state of Mississippi. Chula, Mississippi manages all our judges. Let's see, I'll give you one more. We'll go with West Point manages all our travelers. Okay, now that was a lot to digest. That was just some of the 108. So as you can see here, as you look here, and I zoom in a little bit, the key here when you look at Mississippi, this is the locations where we have our people at. We're in 21 cities throughout the country, and each one of those cities are helping us to coordinate what we just talked about when it comes to Mississippi. Rural Mississippi. Mississippi is a rural location. Rural is important because a lot of us are in urban areas. So anything we do to build up our rural area is going to help us out as a whole because uh, it gives us more flexibility. Sometimes you're tired of the concrete jungle in the city, you can go down in the calm and peaceful green grass area, trees everywhere area. So that's how we see that. So also this month, Marquette Park is where we are on tour at in Chicago. Jackson, Mississippi is where we're on tour at in Mississippi. Washington, D.C. is where we're on tour at inside of the state of the United States, and Djibouti is who's on tour for the entire continent of Africa only this month, and literally on next Saturday, which would be September 2nd. So next Friday, September 1st, that everything you see in the yellow becomes where the tour is. We'll be touring in Chicago in the South Austin neighborhood. We'll be in Mount Bayou, Mississippi on tour. In the US, we'll be in St. Louis, Missouri on tour. And in Africa, Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire is the location that we'll be managing the tour from. All right, so now we're gonna move over. It's 3:20 to switch gears and talk from a safety standpoint. Go highlight what we've been doing on the safety side. So let me take this slide down. I'm gonna bring up the safety slide. All the slides have a similar structure to it, so you don't have to try to read it all. I'm gonna break it down a little bit further when I pull up the safety one for us, and then we'll go into our break. There it is right there. So this is the safety one right here. And so I'm gonna show you guys the similarities, and then we'll go to break and come back and hash out on the safety and what we are working on and need to be working on. So here we go. So as you can see, just like we read before, it's today, Saturday, August 26th, spelled August wrong. Safety is the topic now, and we're going to be discussing this for 15 minutes altogether, because inside of the safety is also missing persons and other things like that. So as you can see here, F through K is the last name. So unless your last name begin with the alphabets F through K, you do not have to sit here and go through this presentation. Those last names F through K, we do ask that you participate, even if you only have a 5-minute session. But this is designed so we can always have coverage and not burn people out. Always have coverage and not burn people out. This is designed so we'll always have coverage and not burn people out. That is a big deal. So many people are burning out because they're doing so much. So let's go to break. I lead this up and we come back. I'm gonna break down to you guys the Super Bowl of anti-violence and why we feel the way we feel about that. Thank you. All right, everyone. Your host, Cy Smith, is back again, and we're going to now get into the safety. So as you can see here, I just want to give you guys an overview of what you're looking at. On the left, you see the last month agenda. In the middle, you see the agenda for today or the discussion for today. Then on the right, you see next month. At the top of each one of those squares, you see the last names who were on once a month duty, twice a year duty, A through E last month, this month F through K. Then in September is last names L through O. As you can see here, when we're talking about safety, we're talking about missing persons. We're talking about abandoned buildings. We're going over things that we know affect our daily lives adversely if we don't do anything about it. So let's go into the numbers. So let me take this down. You see that. We'll stop sharing that. Now I want to get into the numbers. And this is always a solemn period for me because every person that I'm going to read to you, that means the families are adjusting to a new normal. And they're adjusting to a new normal because their loved ones is no longer with them for the most part. So I'm gonna read to you what we're dealing with right out here, right now. So 34-year-old man shot 89th and Carpenter in Chicago at 2 a.m. 4 teenagers were shot. So we had a quadruple shooting, 3500 block on West 13th Street, West Side. We had 18-year-old man shot to death in his car, 4300 block West on Maypole. That's all Chicago. Chicago elderly woman dies during an assault. She was 81 years old on 63rd in May. Then in Memphis, Tennessee, we had a man shot 2224 Bessemer Road in Birmingham. Man shot to death in his car. Atlanta, we had a double shooting. One of them died, 335 Peachtree, northeast side of Atlanta. 23-year-old is the one that died. Back to Memphis, we had a Memphis man shot to death on the south side. Milwaukee man shot to death at the gas station. 71st in May in Chicago, man shot to death. 71st in May, 60621 zip code. Miami, woman shot to death in Liberty City. That's on Northwest 14th Avenue and 58 Terrace. Totally unacceptable. I can go on reading, but I'm not, because we can get numb to that and we start thinking it's just a number. So what I want to do here, let me be real clear to everyone, especially new people who probably never heard me speak about this. We have two things working at the same time here: internal, external, inside, outside. Inside, we are shooting and killing each other. It's a reason for that. It's an unacceptable reason for that. Then we have the external, where we have outsiders, people outside our community that is killing us as well. And so, as with anything, we need to address both. We don't leave one is better than the next. No, both of them need to be addressed, but one can exacerbate the next one. One can make it worse for the next one. So internal violence is one that we can have more influence on because it's us. And it's a matter of us holding us accountable. But when we talk about the shooting and killing of us by outsiders, i.e. the police, different people who may think that they can stop a robbery, or they can intervene and then ultimately end up costing a Black life. So the outside is going to take more coordination with us. Inside killings and violence, we got control over that if we coordinate together. And that's what I want to share with you. HSN is what we believe is going to turn the shooting and killing around. HSN is an acronym that stands for, the H is for habits, the S is for schedule, meaning how you use your time, and of course, the N is for your network. And so HSN is the key, which is about each and every one of our lifestyle. Well, Governor Denise, you on?
Yeah.
Excellent. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're talking about lifestyle in terms of this continued violence that we're seeing. And I was just sharing, the key is our lifestyle. That's what we can control. And that's what we work to do every day with us going out block by block. So if you don't mind, tell everybody who you are and what your thoughts are on that topic.
Hello, my name is Denise King, governor of 60636. Um, my thoughts is I would like us to be back in unity, that we support our own people in business, that we start obtaining property and stop being subject to other people's rules and regulations about how we have to live and do the rent. I believe in Black economics. I believe that we need to be the eyes and ears for one another like we used to be. Even though, we can't, like people say, you can't trust the police. Mark my words, I did a whole lot of anonymous calls. Now, if they told on me, my neighbors don't, because I told them, you can't do that. Them people finna come get me. We supposed to set up a phone tree, but I believe in my heart at my 69 years of life, going into 70, that we can make this change, that we gonna do this thing. It's too many of us that's positive. I commend everybody who do they dollar, they 5, they 10, they 20, they 100, they 1,000. Hey, I love the concept. Look, this that made me lose. I done lost some weight. I ain't a size 24 no more because I stopped eating out to make sure I could donate. Matter of fact, I got to donate because I'm short 2 people on my economics. So I got to come up with $20, $40, 20 for this one and 20 for that one.
Now, it's $5. It's $5, so really 20 is 5 times all 4, or however many you short. So you got more than enough.
Okay then. Matter of fact, I'm ready to send that now so I can get that over just in case. I don't think I'm gonna make it in the next 4 days.
The key I want people to know with Governor Denise is when a person in their spirit feels like we on our way, you hear that energy and that motivation in Governor Denise. And like she said, she's been around the block 6 decades plus. And so for her, she's seen some stuff. You think about 60 years ago. So for her to be as motivated as you hear it, that's refreshing, because honestly, we're in the best shape, best position to do things that we've never been able to do before with technology, social media, young people that's more informed. So I'm glad you feel that way, and I definitely agree with you. So those incidents, and just so everyone else would know, I was reading some of the violent reports that we have in Chicago, across the area. Over 363 murders so far in Chicago, and that's with still 4 months to go. Those habits, schedule, and network is key with the lifestyle. So as we go through this summit, you're going to see how those habits, schedule, and network are synchronized so that Black life can be better for Black people, and then being better for Black people is going to be better for the world. So HSN, remember that, you guys, habits, schedule, network, that's what's key. So now what I want to do, for those people who heard me talk about the Super Bowl of anti-violence, I want to explain that. So for every year, everyone knows we have 4 seasons. We got winter, spring, summer, fall. And when we talk about the shooting and killing, it happens all year round. We get that, but there's almost always an uptick when more people are outside hanging out. And so summertime typically is the more violent period. There's 3 holidays in the summertime. So we've been studying and working on this anti-violence so long that we got it down to a science. So every year, if we don't have Black people in an organized, coordinated formation by Friday, this year was Friday, June 30th, but if we don't have them in formation by the last day of June, which is always June 30th, the way we see it is we lost the rest of the year. That's how severe it is. We got to the last day of June, or else it's us being on the back end trying to respond to violence instead of being on the front end and being able to truly prevent it. Governor Denise, when you hear that, what's your thoughts, thinking that we June 30th of every year is a defining moment? What do you think about that?
That's true, because people start planning, they doing graduations, proms, family reunions, picnics, and because of Black life issues, and like now I have to deal with a mental issue with my older brother who's 79. So we got all this and elderly people, all this stuff is coming into effect. So if we didn't do all we could by that date, family life takes over.
Yeah, yeah. And think about it. That's when family member come in your home, some leave your home because they up for the summer. And the biggest thing is the children are out of school at that point, and they're out of school. If they're not enrolled into something, they're going to be the ones out there just out there. And so that's why that deadline is real. It's 3 deadlines because it's 3 holidays, but that one is like the final one because literally after June 1st, after June 30th is 4th of July weekend. And that is the most dangerous weekend for Black people in the US. 4th of July weekend, you can go from coast to coast. We lose a lot of Black people to violence that 4th of July weekend. Did you know that, Governor?
I just found that out from paying attention to your live videos.
Yeah, but the
Well,
4th of July
I hear
weekend.
it. I hear it, but it's a saddening situation.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why June 30th, what June 30th represents is an opportunity to have a 4-day response to the HSN, the Habit Scheduling Network. So, because most people, what they say when we talk about what can we do about it? And for everyone who don't know how we're organized, we are block by block. And only the post office and census bureau is block by block, like full time. Everyone else will come in and use the block, vote for me, sign my petitions, all of this stuff, but they're going home somewhere. We are literally block by block, meet people on the block, stay in touch with people on the block, find out the rest of the information on the block, help people get new habits on the block, help people get a different schedule with their time on the block, help people build a network on the block. So when I say we got literally a 4-day period, that's 96 hours where we can have in Chicago, which is the toughest city in America to organize. What can happen is all 108 blocks that we have can agree to be on duty on that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday because it's the holiday. And with them on duty, with everyone knowing that we want to gather the kindergartner through 12th grade, we want to gather the retirees, adults, and youth, and we want to give them this synchronization so that way they can have layers of support. Now that young guy who's thinking about pulling the trigger and he likes to be a carpenter, now we coordinated, he's on his way to Detroit to be with the rest of the carpenters because that's the headquarters for the carpenters. So we feel like that 4-day, 96-hour window, 4th of July weekend can get the guys who haven't committed the crime yet because we're not harboring fugitives, but those who are on borderline of doing something they go regret the rest of their life, they can be redeployed. And where they going to, because of our habits, we already know what they're going to do in Detroit on Monday, Safety Day, in Milwaukee, Saturday, Youth Day. What do you think about that, Governor?
That sounds like a workable plan.
It's practical. It ain't nothing that, it's something that we can really do. This isn't rocket science. So I just wanted to make sure people know that. And part of the safety is the abandoned buildings. So again, are we keeping up with how many abandoned buildings are on our block? And fire happened tonight, the house might become abandoned. So who's gonna watch it to make sure a missing person isn't put inside that abandoned building? So part of every Monday Safety Day is an opportunity for us to constantly keep updating ourselves, our block about the abandoned buildings, the registered sex offenders, make sure you got working smoke alarm, fire alarm, all things dealing with us being safer. So I just wanted to make sure people knew that. And then the last part on the violence is this. Every shooter, every time you hear about someone getting shot, really any incident, but we'll stick with shootings because that, could lead to murder. It's 3 blocks that we care about at a minimum when someone is shot, 3 blocks. And I want people who watch this later to know why these 3 blocks matter when there's a shooting. So think about it this way. The block where the shooting took place at is the one that makes all the news. So everyone knows one of those 3 blocks where it happened, that block. Because of how we're organized block by block, we care about what block did the shooter come from. So we got the block everyone knows, but where did the shooter come from? Where's the shooter going back to? So if the shooter came from 16th and Holman, but he went on 63rd and Damon and did the shooting, we want to know that 16th and Holman is where he's from, and who's our leadership over there. So we care about where the incident happened and where the assailants come from and their blocks. And the third block is where the victim live at. So sometimes it's all together. You got the shooter, the victim, and the incident all happen on the same block. That's different. Then we talk about 3 different addresses, but still 1 block. But the point is, with every incident, you got to be concerned with the person who's been injured, hurt, or killed, the person who did it to them, and then where they both live at. All right. So that's what we care about. So every time you hear us talk about a shooting, we're doing research to find out where the shooters came from, where the person came from, and where it happened at. Because where it happened at, we want to help strengthen the blocks. Like in this case here on 60th in Aberdeen, this where a person was shot at. So the 60th in Aberdeen have a person on that block working with us, so we can help them know how to make sure that we know every single address on the block. We get the people active, knowing the habits, the schedule, and the network. Did 60th in Aberdeen do that before the shooting? Then on 60th and Carpenter, the next block over, that's where the person lived at. He was on that block visiting. Is that block organized? Do we know, who the people are on that block? And then, of course, the suspect lives on 62nd and May. Okay, the suspect, who on that block? So as y'all can see, this is very tedious work, but because we're block by block, this is where we live. This is what we love doing. Governor, you got any thoughts on that?
That makes a lot of sense, because people don't know what to do. And when we step in, we can guide them on what and how to do.
Big time. big.
Everybody want to talk then. Everybody want to talk to you then. Everybody got an idea.
Yeah. So I appreciate that input. And again, our number is 312-405-8844. That's 312-405-8844. Let's switch over now, because I want to make sure we go over the missing persons. And this is the challenge we have with illegally migrating people in our neighborhood being supported by the Democratic Party in our neighborhood. We already have a situation where the Black body is profitable. The Black body is profitable. If you don't believe that, Google it so you can see. Our organs are profitable. So when you have so many Black women and children missing and been missing for a long time, please know, Google it yourself so you can see that some people are making money off of our Black bodies. It is our position at National Block Club University that every single block that we care about, which is our 20 zip codes, so we're not worried about up north. If you're up north, you can plug in and learn and then take it up there. But we have 20 Black zip codes we care about in Chicago and the 20 cities that's linked to it. We want to make certain every Monday is Safety Day. We want to make certain that we know the abandoned buildings. We also check and see who are the registered sex offenders, but also, are there any missing persons? Right now, here's the test for everybody. If there was a trafficked 16-year-old girl on your block, would you even know about it? That's how you quickly assess your block. Would you know? And the chances are 99.9% of the time, we won't know. Why? Because in this stage in life, in our society, we don't know each other like that. We mind our own business. And that's what the predators love. They love it when you close your door and don't know your neighbor. They love it when you don't know what's happening up the street, behind you, in the alley around you. They love it when you just put your blinders on and do you. I'm not condemning nobody. What I'm saying is, this is why you supporting us matter, because what we bring is a different energy to say, hey, it's a method you can use to start to care about your neighbors and show it without putting them all in your business. Because we understand that's what people don't like doing. But when it comes to our missing children and women, it's very important that you know, number one, that on your block, are there any vans that you can't see on the inside? That's important. Any vans inside on your block, in your community, we want to get the license plate, the location where you seen it at, the make and the state that the license plate is from, and you get it to 312-405-8844. And the reason for that is we don't know if someone is inside that cargo van being trafficked right now, dead right now, So we want to make certain, and we told all our guys in construction who got cargo vans like that, sorry, but we are building our own database of vehicles like that in our community. So when we hear about someone being abducted, kidnapped, we got our own database to go and look at because of you. And so any thoughts on that, Governor?
I think that's a good one because I got to check my neighbors. Their van is full of carpet and carpet equipment, you know, the padding and all that kind of stuff. But that's because he lived across the street and I see when he opened the door. But
Yep.
is some of them, you know, because I'm not out there to see when they open, you know, what they do. So you're right. I'm guilty of that. I just think, but these are, yeah, even though they regular around here, they're new move-ins. These not the regular people.
Yeah. And we're not doing that with the information unless something comes up. So they won't even know. Get it in anyway. Text me that info anyway. Who knows? They might steal the van and commit a crime. So having it is better than not having it. And they'll be all right. They won't even know.
Because the police used to stop me with my car and said, we was looking for you. Then they said, oh no, you're not the one.
Yeah.
But the description they had was the same color and the make of my car.
Yeah. And another safety point for people, you know, in Gary, Indiana, where like in the alley and where we be at a lot, the vacant lot was open, the shrubbery grows tall. And so if someone is missing and they inside tall shrubbery, you look for clues. Are the shrubbery mashed down? If it's still erected as if it hasn't been disturbed, chances are no one threw anything back there. But we put used tires that tend to be in our neighborhood everywhere. We put used tires along the edges so you can't just quickly drive into that vacant lot. And so I encourage you, create wherever you are, create barriers, make things, because criminals look for the path of least resistance. So make barriers and little things that you can look at to see if there's been disturbances, you know, and then try to make certain that it's not convenient for criminals to just put a car there or throw a body over there, things of that nature. Just do that in your Monday safety thinking flow. So just give it a few pointers on that safety piece. All right, so it's time to move over to the economic side. I thought we was gonna have Desi on here. She may still come on. Hopefully she will, because we want to hear about her business. But I didn't talk about the youth. So let me do the youth, and then we go to Desi, who is a businesswoman. And what she does, we definitely want to support her. So we're going to go over that real quick. But going to our youth, I want to give you guys the structure we have for our young people. So every Saturday, just like every Monday is safety day, every Saturday is youth day. Well, there's 4 Saturdays out the month. So what we've done, we've taken each Saturday and we've grouped age brackets of kids to every Saturday, age brackets. So I want to go through those age brackets and what Saturday we match to each one. So every first Saturday of the month, first Saturday, we concentrate personally on 5-year-olds to 9-year-olds every first Saturday of the month. All right. So with that group, that's the very absorbent stage young people. They pretty much will go with the flow with anything you do. They're not that judgmental. So that's 5 to 9-year-olds every first Saturday. Every second Saturday, we focus on the 10-year-olds to 14-year-olds. They're at the challenging stage. I mean, they're at the competitive stage in life. And at the competitive stage, they want to compete to help define who they are. That's how they see it. So for that age bracket, 10 to 14, it's all about sporting events. It's about competition, jump rope, things of that nature that allows them to test themselves against their peers, people in their age bracket. Then, of course, the third Saturday, this is for a long time. Every third Saturday, we took teenagers out of town to different cities because this is the most challenging stage for our young people. This is when they're testing things because they got a little bit more freedom. So they're testing possibly sex, drugs. They're testing just parental authority as a whole. This is our 15 to 17-year-olds. We want to make super certain that we don't have teen pregnancy during this time. And if we on the third Saturday in particular are coming up with ways to attract, motivate, inspire, and teach them, then it's less likely they get caught up in the ways of the world. Then the last Saturday, which is today, are our 18 to 21 year olds. So the 18 to 21 year olds, they are now officially grown according to the government. And so at 21, then they can drink. So what are we doing 18 to 21? For us, that's our rites of passage period for them. So we want to help them know and be in position to own a home out of Gary, Memphis, or Birmingham, so that their family will have home ownership in their lineage. So that's the Saturday agenda, you guys. That's what we do. And when we talk to people, we always find out their household, kindergarten through 12th graders, or 5 to 21 year olds in the house. You got any thoughts on that, Governor?
That's very workable. That's broken down to an organized plan of who to reach and when to reach them.
Some people say that's too much. And the beauty with that, if it's too much, just take the parts that make sense for you. You don't have to do it all. Just take the parts that work for you. But please know we're speaking to a global audience. So we have to have everything. And you just take from it what you need for your block, your household, and don't, get frustrated because you don't know all aspects of it. On the record, so our people know, Milwaukee, Wisconsin is our first priority as we get our funding that we expect to come in. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. After Milwaukee is St. Louis, Missouri. After St. Louis is Detroit, Michigan. They all are right here where we are, and they're easy to get to, meaning we can get there from a cost perspective easily. And then Milwaukee first. What we want to ultimately see come from that is we want to see people in Milwaukee coming down to Little Milwaukee in Chicago, which is the Woodlawn neighborhood. When we get to St. Louis, we want to see the people of St. Louis coming to Chicago's Little St. Louis, which is South Austin neighborhood. When we get to Detroit, we want to see the people of Detroit coming to Chicago's Little Detroit, which is in the new city, 43rd and State, that area there. Those cities, getting them to send their people to Chicago is part of our victory as a people. Because in Chicago, and I'm going to talk about Gary and the conventions, but in Chicago, those young people meeting and seeing out-of-state young people is fun, aspirational. It makes them care about it. They may be attracted to them, but that out-of-town, in-town gives us vibrancy in our neighborhoods. Right now, you see hanging out, you see staring at your car faces. What you don't see is that bus pulling up with Milwaukee kids to come and compete with the Chicago kids. Now they smiling, they want to be the best in whatever they compete with. That's the future when we talk about our young people, is travel all the time and going places, meeting new people and feeling the love. And of course, in Gary, our theme is we want all them cities to send 2 people to the conventions in Gary. Send 2 to the conventions, Milwaukee. Detroit, send 2 to the Gary convention. St. Louis, send 2 to the conventions. Governor, you got any thoughts on that youth part?
That's a good way for them to experience city life somewhere else besides what's in Chicago. they get a chance to see life goes on.
No doubt at all. No doubt. So that's the format on the safety and on the youth. Now we're going to switch gears and come over here to this other side, economic development. And Governor Denise hits it out the park all the time. So let me first break it down. Every Wednesday is Economic Day. The economy is made up of production, distribution, consumption. Somebody got to produce something or provide a service for something. Someone has to distribute it, get it to them, and then someone has to buy it. That's the consumer part. So with PDC, production, distribution, consumption, we can build our own economies for our people. Unlike now, where we got other people in our neighborhoods making money off of us and sending it back to their countries to take care of their people. We want to have our economy. We call it SEE, Stop Economic Exploitation. That's SEE, C. We're going to stop economic exploitation, because that's what's happening to Black people all over the country is that others are coming directly in our neighborhood, competing and taking our dollars and sending them back home. So with every Wednesday, we should be able to name, since there's 4 Wednesdays a month, we should be able to name 4 Black entrepreneurs that we circulated our money with, just like Chinatown, just like Greektown, just like Little Italy. Can't be more clear than that. When you release your money, if you're releasing it to other Black people, it's gonna circulate, and that's gonna allow more Black people to touch the money and possibly benefit from the money. When you give your money to other people, which is natural, we're gonna do that. But when you're not giving no money to your people and all the money you are giving is to other people, you're helping them out. So if you wanted to add something to that, Gavin?
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I was guilty of getting discount tacos, and I start with the money that I was doing with the discount tacos. I started donating.
Yeah, that's why I say you do so much giving, and the key is for others who may not be in a position like you, is for them to know the giving can be small. When we say circulate or suffocate, it doesn't matter the amount as much as that you see value in circulating with your people and that you do it, because circulation is the opposite of suffocation. So if we don't circulate, we're essentially suffocating. And so we rather have people circulate little than nothing at all. And so that's why that's a big deal. We also
Oh yes.
know.
I want to make sure. Guess what? Every penny, nickel, dime, quarter, 50-cent piece, dollar counts. If we
Yeah,
can get 1 million people to
yeah,
just to do one of those or a couple of those, we hitting on
yeah.
100.
Big time. Where 1,000 people doing it electronically is our first test. That's the test by June 30th. We gotta show that we can be in agreement at a large number, and 1,000 is a large number. So when we can't get to 1,000, I mean, we got work to do still. We still got work to convince people that we can do it. We don't think it's a money issue. It's just a do I agree issue. It's a values issue. So we got to get to that place where that becomes easy, so we can do that in every zip code, duplicate those 1,000 people moving as one financially. And then that helps our Black business owners as well. So I want to read to you guys on the economic side, so y'all know the way we have our businesses formatted, that's going to help us as Black people. And so if you're a business person, you want to listen to this. This section is very important as a business owner to hear this. Anyone that makes clothes, apparel, sell t-shirts, hats, anything, every first Wednesday. Beauticians, every first Wednesday. Chefs, every first Wednesday. Disc jockeys, every first Wednesdays. All forms of entertainment, sports, dance, theater, acting, first Wednesday. Restaurants, seamstress and tailors, and then travel agents are all part of the first Wednesday group. Why Wednesday? That's economic day. All those businesses, industries I just read to you, we every first Wednesday try to make sure that we check in with you, find out how business is going, how things are going. What's your worst financial month? If an apparel person tell me they worst month is October, guess what we're going to do? We're going to rally our 1,000 people to support you in October. So that way your worst month become possibly your strongest month. This is how we have to move as Black people, to be very intentional about making sure that we move forward. The second Wednesday group is beauty supply stores, car washes, cellular stores, cleaners, daycares, gas stations, landlords, realtors, liquor stores, nail salons. That's our second Wednesday group. So with that group, again, every second Wednesday, we're coordinating, talking to them about how to support each other and find out what their worst month is. So again, we can work to strengthen them in their worst month. The third Wednesday group of Black business industries are accountants, barbers, dentists, doctors, funeral homes, landscapers, lounge owners, massage/skincare professionals, and moving companies. Every third Wednesday, we're talking to that group, getting them in alignment, so that way they can make sure they tell us what their worst month is and how we can support that. Then the last Wednesday are auto mechanics, book authors, bricklayers, carpenters, corner store owners, electricians, journalists. And when I say journalists, anyone that got a YouTube channel or any channel that they can make money off of, and we support them, you're a journalist. All right. So that's you. Karate instructors, lawyers, marketers, painters, plumbers, and salespersons, insurance, etc. Every fourth Wednesday, that group, we're saying let's coordinate so we can get information and support each other. This here is something you're not going to hear from not too many other places. This here is a game changer for us to get our Black businesses synchronized and match them with our residents block by block. So that way our money stays amongst us, just like Chinatown, Greektown, and Little Italy. Governor Denise, what you think about that?
That's great. That's how we become organized and grow. Well, because that's a plan. That's a workable plan, a visible plan.
No, that's all it is. So you hit it on the head. The good part for everyone to know with this is every one of them industries that I just read to you and described to you, every one of them industries, we got them tied to a K through 12th grade. So we literally got 39 industries tied to just 13 grades. For instance, all restaurants, we asked them to lock arms and support third graders. All carpenters, lock arms and support third graders. So if you're a parent of a third grader, you should know that we got carpenters and restaurant owners who go help you with the winter coat, with the winter boots, things of that nature, because we are negotiating on that Wednesday with them how they can add value in our zip codes. If you are a barber, we got you linked to 8th graders. If you're a beautician, we got you linked to 4th graders. So, and I'll talk about that more in the education section, but I just want people to know why spending money with these Black businesses is really going to strengthen our education and our young people. It's tied together. What you think about that, Governor?
Oh, yes. One hand holds the other. We make that chain of growth, that growth chain.
So construction is the next part here. And you guys, if you don't know, that Mexicans, which are, so when you see the work being done in our community, that's more the Mexican community than it is the Venezuelans, the Hondurans, the Ecuadorians, those people illegally migrating up here who's being bussed up from Texas up here. They are the most vulnerable. They don't have the connections that they have. The Mexicans, which, you know, we're right connected to them, southern border, are in a much more stronger financial position. So they are able to maximize when the Spanish speaking come up here. And what's happening is they're getting funding, our funding, to help push and speak Spanish and help them migrate in. And then with them already being in stronger financial position, then they can come in closer in isolated, starved Black neighborhoods. We see this all over Black America. Whoever is afraid to speak on it, shame on you that you think Black lives don't matter enough to expose and call out what we see happening with our very eyes, that we got non-Black people moving in neighborhoods that been allowed to let sons be murdered and killed, police do brutality, and we sit back and we do nothing, but now we let other people come in and benefit. It's a travesty of humanity. Not that we shouldn't help other people, but it says something that we can say Black lives don't matter. We look the other way, and now we just replace them. Totally wrong. And you sound like you want to say something to that. Go ahead, Governor.
Yes. I mean, the places that our men used to go, like around, I don't know if they do it at Lowe's, but Home Depot is their spot. I mean, it's so many. I remember they chased the Black folks from over there. You can't be hanging out. If you see it now, it's like that. That's free for all. I mean, once the parking lot is full, you can't tell who in the store and who
not. And you're talking about 87th, right off of the expressway. Damn right. Yep. And the women, so
not as bad, but they up there.
But yeah, and here's again, we want human beings to do well. That's not the argument. I want to be real clear. We want Black people are the most compassionate people. We want people to not to go through what we've been through. But please know this. What we're dealing with is a structure and a system that's saying that some people's lives matter more than others. Let me be real clear. Let me say that slow. We don't mind helping people. We love helping people. But what's happening to Black people is a structure and a system working to say your life don't matter. You stay down here while we elevate someone over you. This is our issue for everyone that don't understand that. It's not personal. It's structure and system working against us in a continued fashion the way it always has in this country. So please get that correct, people. Structure and system working against us. And our response to that shouldn't be met like we're angry, we're racist, and we don't like people. No, what's happening is happening to us. We're not going in nobody's neighborhood messing or interrupting and capitalizing off of them. It's coming to us, and it's coming to us by design. Any thoughts on that? Now I'm gonna talk about the construction solution, what we're doing about this, what's happening.
Oh yeah, that's the truth, because I know I'm quite sure a lot of people didn't know about the red line. And that was a structured system to get us over here in these places that weren't all the way up to par, and not to loan us no money to fix it up, and then for us to lose it so that it can be marked up. Because I didn't think they should have tore down all these brick buildings. Now maybe some of them frames, but that was a design so that developers can come in here and put that high price up. This is straight up a structure and design that I didn't pay attention to years ago. But I thought they shouldn't have torn down all. I look at some of the buildings with an X on it. That brick is good. There's nothing wrong with the brick. There's nothing wrong with the foundation. Why did you go through there and say tear it down?
Yeah.
That's because you didn't care. The point was to get us in, push us out.
The key, I think, for us, for Black people to know, the sad part is everything that we're talking about is happening in Democratic controlled areas. True. Chicago been democratically controlled for my whole life. I'm 48, my whole life. So you can't blame a Republican for nothing that's happening in Chicago. In some of these other cities, it's the same thing. So again, we talking about a party that we vote for overwhelmingly, 90%, but they put everyone else in front of us. And the convention is coming to Chicago, the Democratic convention next year. They need to know we're not happy with what they've been doing to us as a people. That, like, we're not going to keep tolerating that. So, all right. So let me go through the construction real quick so people know what we're doing. We mail out every month. We mail out over 108 to survey our people. So the survey that went out last month says, are you looking to get a new roof in 5 years? You're looking to get a new roof in 3 years? You're looking to get a new roof now, or you don't need a new roof at all? And this survey that we went out is specifically just for roofing. We have a similar survey for electrical, and I'm gonna give you the month. So this month it's about carpenters. Do you need a new front porch built out of wood? Because it's carpenters. Next month, September is gonna be about carpenters. This month was roofers. October is gonna be about the plumbers, and then carpenters, plumbers is coming up. And this survey is designed just so that we can check the temperature of our people. And the reason we want to check the temperature is because if we know you're going to get a new roof in 5 years, now our roofing section, all of our retired roofers, adult roofers, and young people that want to be roofers got something that they can prepare for. They can even find financing for you to speed up your clock on that 5 years. But the biggest thing this does, it keeps Black people from going and getting other ethnic groups to do that roof. You follow that? That's the biggest thing it does. So the surveys is a preventive measure so that we don't help others come and take money out of our community and send it back to where they come from, hurting us further. All right. Any thoughts on that?
I love it, because I see it being done on a constant basis.
That's who we got. We've been joined by Governor Charles. Governor Charles, you there?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Governor Charles.
All right.
You want to add to that conversation, that topic there?
Is Gerald on also side? Do you know?
That's a negative. Just us three.
Okay. So I gave him the link. So let me kind of remind him. I'm gonna drop off and come back in.
No, Governor. That's part of the test. Let it ride.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And let's Denise know what's happening. Denise, we working to make sure people know that getting on the calls, which Charles manages the 4 o'clocks. This is real work. Like, this is coordination. It takes preparation. You got administration to do, research before you get on with the topic. You got to follow up with people, text them, remind them, get them on, get their thoughts, data entry, type that up, send out the post notes. So these calls we do is real administrative work. It's telephone work, and it's sometimes door-to-door work. And people get to earn community service. Even if they go into court, it shows that they've been active with an organization, especially a non-traditional one. And we just want to see people that want to be responsible. The calls happen every day. So that's what Charles is referencing. He's getting someone to get on, and we'll see if they stay consistent with it. But we will. So nothing else.
Oh, I got to start writing this down. I've been slacking.
No, you. It's so much, and you've been a star. You continue to be a star, but just know that's why it's called National Black Card University. It's a lot. We don't go to Notre Dame and say, I want to know everything in Notre Dame. So, but Charles, you got any thoughts on what we just talked about? Then we can get off of construction, move on to education.
Well, yeah, I did come in. I came directly in at 4 o'clock on the call. I mean, on the Zoom, and I heard you guys talking about, as Denise say, the red line, and that's important to me. And the immigration thing, and the pushback for me is for decades, as you say, Si, as I was, I'm 56. And the same thing I have grew up under, the same thing you grew up under, watching the Democrats in the city I live in, born and raised, do what they've been doing, I mean, leaving us out at the table, which you say 90, almost 100% of us vote that way. Democrat been voting that way, but we're pushed back every issue that every time we bring up a topic during an administrational, whether it's the presidency or anything like that. When we go to talking about the wrong and the reparations, they find distractive ways to put stuff in front of that. Like for me, in the 70s, I watched women live as a young boy growing up, get put in front of still discrimination. So every time administration come in and something else that they headline and keep it in play for 4 years to keep us distracted and still back in the back of the line. That's what I feel.
Yeah. Now and like you say, you lived through this, and the first daily order, shoot to kill. That says something. That says something, that you ordered shoot to kill. That means those lives don't matter as much. When the riots happened back in the 60s. So, again, that was a Democrat, ordering the slaughter of other Democrats. So very unfortunate, but it's telling. And so switch gears over to education now. So last month, we was focused on Clemente High School becoming a welcoming school. And we do got Charles on here. He's our coordinator at 4 o'clock. He's an educator. And this goes to the topic we're still on. So education, for those who don't know, when the laws changed and they had to somewhat let Blacks get educated, we saw this explosion of colleges that used to be free, put price tags on it and try to price Blacks out. And I don't think it's enough education out there around how the whole college thing was created to really suppress us again. And especially with the college debt and how you can't even file bankruptcy against that debt, but you can file bankruptcy against a house or a car. Like, what was the origin of that? And again, this is just the thinking that I want to keep a certain group suppressed on the bottom, ignorant, dumb, not knowing. And so now they are pushing at Clemente as a welcoming school. So that means these illegal migrating people get to now put their children in school. Someone has to pay for that. Property taxes pay for the education. So instead of these empty schools in Chicago and elsewhere, instead of that coming off the tax roll and giving people more of their money back in terms of reduced taxes, now you're going to fill the schools up with people who haven't contributed and keep my taxes at the same level or even raise my taxes. How wrong is that? That the people who are paying for the schools, the empty buildings and everything, don't have a say in how you're going to keep their expenses high and not bring it down, since you're going to match it to the current situation. Clemente right now is a welcoming school, meaning your money is paying for that in Chicago. And I don't know if they asked your permission. So let's get y'all thoughts on that.
Oh, I got something to say. Because when I heard that now they want to do bilingual classes, well, why didn't you want to do it before? That would have benefited all children. So you picked out a segment again to promote to where our children could have been bilingual, getting those jobs being bilingual.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't appreciate you raising property tax, because when you do that, the landlord go up on his rent, and I'm not benefiting.
Right.
You're benefiting somebody who doesn't have to, who has no state ID, no social security number, no work record, no references, no job history, no medical record history, no nothing. So you have no idea who has what, but you're paying for that. But we can't have affordable housing for people who get a once a month check.
Right. Yeah.
Something wrong. So look,
Yeah.
and I believe like this, we need to put it out there. Stop letting these people come in your church on a Sunday talking about what they gonna do, and we don't see them no more till 4 more years.
Yeah.
Let them talk outside your building.
Yeah. That's real talk. That's real talk. Thank you for sharing that. Charles, you got anything for that?
Yes, sir. I feel that that's a blow to your own constitution that you put forth as saying that first of all, the people that's on this soil, that was born on this soil, that they should benefit from this constitutional and this this system of checks and balances that you have put in place, but you just went against your own checks and balances by doing what you just did.
Right.
That putting in place people that, just as we say, that benefit before us. I mean, which you ain't even, to me, it's not taking care of those who already been here generationally. It's not taking care of them. You have not taken care of them at all. And you just illegally went against your own system and structure that you put in play. We ain't put it in play. You did. and put people before, you put the horse before the cart by doing that. When they could get stuff like they saying they could become polices now. They in the school systems freely, which we play generational into education by taxes. And here they pay no taxes. So how's you gonna benefit from that? That's what I'm not understanding. I'm confused about that.
Yeah. I'm upset.
Yeah. It's unacceptable. That's what it is. Unacceptable.
That's why we need to start spending money with our own bank, our own everything. That's the proof right there.
You said that right, Denise. That just shows I look at it, a system that ignores me and I'm in my later years of life, and a lot of us are, and I don't see it ever letting up to change generationally. You might as well just go and do something different. You should. Yeah. That's the way I see it. I don't see just going with the same thing and saying, oh, well, is ass.
We ain't got nothing to lose. We got more to gain. How we gonna, okay, that system hasn't worked for us, so let's try something new to benefit us. And
for ourselves. The key thing is for ourselves, because ain't nobody that damsel in distress, nobody's coming to save that.
Yeah. And I think the key is any human being that don't want to see you take care of yourself, they should question their humanity. I want to see Mexicans take care of Mexicans. I want to see Germans take care of Germans. I want to see the Italians take care of Italians. So anyone who's against African Americans, Black people taking care of Black people, shame on you as a human being. Shame on you. So I want to put that on them so that way they don't say, why I got to be about race? You cover home base first. Then you go out. You cover home base first. Anyone who's against covering home base first, that you leaving yourself vulnerable and exposed. Always cover home base first. So let's put this out there on the education. So the red light cameras, the speeding 6 miles over, all of these devices that primarily is foreigners coming up with their schemes to come in here and use only large democratic cities to put this stuff in, which we know that's the code word for us. And now they're making money on fines and feeing us to death as well. So not only you paying high taxes and all this, but it's fines and fees. We'll talk more about that during the policy section. But a lot of this money that they're getting, to me, it should be taking the incentive out so that money can never go into the general fund of government. Because as long as it's going to the general fund, it encourages them to do more of it. If that money was forced to stay in the zip code for emergency services and things of that nature, it takes the incentive away from government to put more of these up. Any thoughts on that before we go into the school principal being removed over on the south side?
You got that right, because it's so many of them cameras up and down Western Boulevard. I was like, wow, what is this? This then became the racetrack or something. And my phone pops up all the time. They put new cameras. They have during there from 4 to 6 cameras on one intersection.
And nothing downtown. Go downtown. You don't see nothing down there.
And I put out, my Facebook always locked up. I said, well, why don't you spend that money in the neighborhood where the camera is? Ooh, because then we'd have better schools and better everything. Ooh.
Yeah. So Principal Muhammad was removed from I think it was Lindblom, and it was some white teachers that played a role in that. And so the bottom line, some of our leaders and Cole, the group, they filed a lawsuit, and that lawsuit forced the city to take a position that they didn't want to take. So they essentially lost their battle and withdraw what they was trying to do with firing him, I believe. But the bottom line is citizens coordinated, organized citizens took legal action, just like Natasha Dunn did with the immigrants going into South Shore School building, took legal action to force the administration to have to operate differently than normally, where they just listen to people yell, shout with the bullhorn, and then be like, oh, well, here, taking it before a judge, especially when you know you're doing other things you shouldn't be doing. You want to keep that quiet, so you just give up and withdraw. So that's a victory. And one day, hopefully, we'll be able to hear from that brother on what the next step should be about that. All of our grades, kindergartners through third grade, kindergartners through third graders is the first Tuesday of the month. The second Tuesday of the month is 4th through 6th graders. That's my middle school period. Entry to middle school period. The third Wednesday is 7th and 8th graders. And then the last Wednesday of the month is the high schoolers, 9th through 12th graders. That's a little internal, so you guys know every Tuesday is education day. So we split that up into 4s as well, so we can be very intentional when we deal with our K through third graders, when we deal with our 4th through 6th graders. So that's just a little insight. You guys don't have to try to remember that. I just want y'all to know we have a method and a system to stay in touch with every echelon of our people. Any thoughts on that from you guys? Okay. The last thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, this is Governor Charles. Yeah, that's a very unique thing of K through 12. I think it's a unique process because it ties in with businesses. That's what I love about it, because that's taking care of each other. You understand? That's it. We got a reason now to say grudgingly that, hey, let's pay this attention. Let's help each other. Now that one piece right there is a very significant thing. I would love to see these grades winning money. I'm gonna love when this thing really takes off and the actual essential benefit of us doing for each other and doing for self without nobody, no leaders or nobody twisting our arm to make us do it. And that's a big love proponent that I think about this thing. Yeah.
That's music to my ears, brother. I appreciate that. Now watch this. The key with structure and the way I just broke that down. In addition to that, think about it this way. When you transition from one grade to the next grade, and you know it's a new set of professions waiting on you. So like right now, what happens now for back to school, it's like this. Everybody got a back to school celebration, back to school gifts and all that. And that's fine. That's fine. It is what it is. The future though is we know that the plumbers got the 12th grades. So we know the plumbers gonna set up, they fraternity of plumbers go come out and they're gonna do not just book bags, but they go do the specific things 12th graders need to start school. We know the chefs got 9th graders, so they gonna have the protractors that 9th graders need. So you know how, Charles, you know how y'all got specific things each grade needs? Well, by having them professions, that's what they school giveaway gonna be made up of, all those things that's specialty for that grade. And now the parents don't have to buy it because we as a whole, as a village, took care of it for them. So I get excited thinking about the future of back to school supply stuff and how that's gonna look. Any thoughts on that?
University stuff, man. That's what it is. Just like you say, we got a specific person instead of us crossing lines and everybody getting jumbled up. But just as you say, I know I like went to see when these different organizations give stuff to the kids, but could we do it in a coordinated fashion that takes care of everybody and give us a reason to react with each other with the most love and not done. My whole thing is not done by others.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. Not done by others. No, your foe C1. I have nothing against that, but that way, that's due for self. That's us coming and saying, hey, that dollar that we doing, we could control that a little better and a little bit more coordinated.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, the last piece on this is the teachers, And I'm gonna say it this way: as God allow us to get stronger, we're gonna have different conversations with corporations. We call corporations our team pipeline number 3, which is professionals, so accounting firms, people like that. The conversation with them when it comes to teachers is this: for one, we underpay our teachers. I think is universally known. We underpay them. And with the cost of living and things of that nature, the months that they're out of school should be not just survival, but those months should be excitement and plenty. It should be overflow so they can go get rejuvenated, get their battery charged up to have a good next 9 months of service. We got to get to that place, just like we get into that place as Black people lives matter. We got to get to that place where teacher lives matter too. So how that looks, so everyone to know what that looks like. That looks like rich people who got 5 and 6 homes all around the country saying, I'm gonna let the teacher of the month get this for a weekend and so forth. It looks like the people with the mansions over there saying, hey, the family, y'all family union could be on my yard. It looks like hotels saying, here's the points, you can stay at these hotels, these resorts for free. It looks like the car plate people who know they taking the cars, they got too many miles, saying, here, you can have these cars or you can drive these cars for the 3 months you're not working. It looks like Uber and Lyft saying, hey, you get this many free rides. Every freaking section, because teachers touch every freaking section of the economy, should be saying what they're going to do for them 3 months the children or the teachers are out of work. And, you know, and for those who would say, well, they need to save more, they're underpaid as it is. So save more, I get all that, but what are we doing to make them ultra excited and rewarding them for what they do to prepare every profession. What's your thoughts on that?
That's beautiful. It's the truth. They are underpaid. Because now, besides being a teacher, you the psychiatrist, you the nanny, you the nurse, you the security, you're the counselor. So when do you get a chance to educate?
Okay. Governor Charles, what you got?
Oh yeah, you know me being one of the frontliners, Si, I couldn't have said it no better than what you say. Me and you have many discussions about this education thing, to where it is we say, hey, we worked 10 months professionally as educators. We didn't, you know, sometime the field chose us. So we happen to be educators, which we only work 10 months. We can't help that. And the challenge of us financially it's a burden. It's actually a burden because they're doing too much. I mean, I done been out. I'm attest to that. 2 months of me being out, my bills is crazy, man. My bills, they come so much, and a lot of us can't sustain. We come back to work, it's brutal. It's actually brutal on us. And
Now, Charles, what about the unions? Isn't that where the unions help out?
Well, I don't see no help from the union. They haven't came up with anything because some of us, if we go try to work somewhere, they know we're going back to work as educators, they won't hire. You know, ain't no way we could go work 2 months and they welcome us if they know we leaving.
Yeah, I'm
So
glad you brought
the
that
union.
up.
I don't know what the union talking to other. You know, they haven't put nothing in place with, especially here in Chicago, with any like Amazon or any other place where we could go work comfortably and still earn what we earn.
Yeah, and that's why this section of the summit is set aside for teacher dialogue. Every second Saturday is Teachers Day. That's what needs to happen because we got to have what the challenges are and what we recommend be done, and then put that to the legislature so that way they can see how we can get that on the committee where they can review it and price tag it out and push that. And in the meantime, we'll keep socializing it to the people because we gotta do something better with that, especially when it comes to housing. That's the biggest expense of all people is housing. I just did the research. Right now, people in Australia, they literally, as we speak, spending 50% of their money on housing, half of their income on housing, and their housing is $1,600, $400 a week for a 2-bedroom place in Australia, and so we got to do better because you got too many filthy rich people spending $5 million on a picture, and then you got people who's working 40 hours. Under no circumstances should you work 40 hours and not have the ability to live. If you're going to be able to put in that much work, you should be able to live, period. It's no way that we need to have a society where that doesn't happen. And we're going to do our part to reduce the cost of living. All right,
Okay.
let's move over to policy. So policy is, last month we talked about, of course, Ukraine, the policy on Ukraine, over $100 billion already spent, the illegal migrants coming up, the policy we have on that, Syria, and of course the policy of no reparations to us. We kind of hinted on this. So what I'm suggesting, and want to get everybody's feedback on this, especially that Senate Bill 1718, which is going to be a pathway for undocumented people to become police, essentially. We need to make certain that we consider possibly separating ourselves from the city. So in Atlanta, the white community wanted to separate themselves from the black, brown Atlanta, and they wanted to cede. They wanted to, separate themselves from that. And they was going to call their town Buckhead City because that's the neighborhood where the filthy rich is. And so it failed, but they went to the state and got approval to even attempt to do it. And I think we had to it's a drastic measure. It's a nuclear measure, but it's a measure that we should consider just so we can make certain that the Democrats know how serious we are, that you are making all these decisions. You're making it sanctuary for others, hell to us. Why would we stay connected, pay our property taxes so that we have sanctuary for others and hell to us? So I know that's a big policy thought process, but with giving undocumented the ability to be policed, making sure that they got everything they need, phones, all of this, and all the opposite happening for us. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Oh, don't get me started. You're right. When I had to take the police officer test, I needed references from people. I needed a certain amount of education. Besides, I had to speak English. They tested my mentality to see was I a vicious person, which they said I was. I had to have a certain amount of education. I had to have a work history and a social security number, a birth certificate. They had to verify everything. They and when the people in the net, I didn't know when the people I gave up for references didn't give it up because I was one short. We caught the blues. They go in the neighborhood and ask your neighbors, what type of person are you? So now you bringing an influx of people that you don't have to ask nothing. That means you ought to, all those people that applied, you ought to give them the job.
Right, right.
Everybody that has all the qualifications you asked for, you need to hire them, then put them at the bottom. Because that would be fair and right. Because they have no proof. If we have no proof of anything, they tell you, to turn around, go out the door. Go in the bank without an ID. You can't cash no check. You better go to a gas station somewhere. You can't go nowhere without an ID. How are they getting an ID? What proof? So why do they need proof to get an ID? They don't need proof, but I do. I need proof for a job, but they don't. So what makes me, the American voter, taxpayer, hard worker, what makes me any different than anybody else? And that's the love.
Yeah. So what I suggest.
I don't think it's fair. Well, no, I know it's not fair. The Bible don't even say do that, so that's not fair. And they always put their hand on that Bible when they do that. Oh, they lying. Their hand ought to be on fire right now.
Charles, you got something on that?
Yeah, I think the niece said a mouthful for us.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, well, once again, bringing up the Constitution, that goes against the grain. Once again,
sure does.
When you say when you're putting these checks and ballots, what's the use of putting checks and ballots in play if you're not, I mean, you can't be making these laws and then breaking them at the same time. I'm trying to just wonder, once again, confused. I'm confused. How just as Denise said, you don't have an ID, you don't even have a social. So how can you be that? How could you become that? I mean, what secret ways you going around that without being a citizen? I don't know. And another thing, once again, democratically voting, voter. I mean, I don't think that's what we want because that hurts us. Nobody wants that. That hurt us. If it was that easy, we should have a lot of things that we don't have.
True.
All right.
I put that comment out there on my Facebook page. I put it out there that elected officials can vote themselves raises and everything, but I put a list up there. Of course, my Facebook page got locked up. I bust them out. I put it out there so other people can think about it, just in case, because they don't watch the news and they don't look at educational stuff that roll across my page. And this is stuff that I be copying what this white folks be saying this. Caucasians, Europeans be saying this, be saying what they doing. Okay, come on. At your job, child, could you go tell the principal that you're going to get a raise and get it? But elected officials tell us that they need a raise. I remember the alderman, this one guy said he had it right. Well, I can't afford for my child to go to private school. I put up there with him, you need to get you another job somewhere. It's not my job to put your child in private school. So you work for the city, your children can't go to city school. So why your child is above ours going to public school?
Yeah, I agree. Once again, just like you say, Denise, I never could walk up to my boss and just make my the bosses downtown at CPS make them give me a raise because I think I deserve one. That'll never happen.
Right. Matter of fact, all they want to do is give us pennies.
I mean, to me, I viewed it in my head as working 40 years. I done watched people work 40 years and then turn around and pass away and still don't have enough finances to take trips and do stuff because they steady paying bills. You getting money, I'm getting money just to give to somebody else, back to the people that gave it to me, most importantly. So that's a vicious game.
All right, now y'all both on point. The key also from a policy standpoint is, and I can put these up so people can see this, are the gas stations, which we know. So think about it this way, y'all. BP, British Petroleum, Amco, so they bought them out. Amco, Standard Oil, Amco. So the Amco building downtown. So imagine the whites primarily run the corporate, right?
Yeah.
Then you got the Arabs run the physical gas stations.
Yeah.
The Britain owns BP. So Britain, which is England, hires white people in America to do all the administration, corporate. Then the Arabs deal with the blacks with the gas stations getting the gas. So the Arabs and whites working together and blacks on the bottom of that relationship.
Oh yeah.
The gas stations put the Dutch cigarillos, which you smoke marijuana in, they put them in there and they got on their Dutch masters, which we know the Dutch played a key role in slavery. And they now got black people smoking cigars that say Dutch masters. They telling you to your face, we your masters. You buying this from the Arab gas station and the white owned and run corporate people downtown overseeing the whole operation of British Petroleum. See how they partnering together, collaborating together?
Mm-hmm. Dirty.
When people tell me I don't see race, this here is these are we dropping jewels on you in terms of it is all about race. So everything is centered around race, and they just so used to want to be imperialism that anything you say against that gets them upset. So we go keep pressing forward, and our policies as we get more people to see value in it is to stop buying things and giving money to people who don't care about humanity for all, versus in their case they only care about European humanity. They think their lives matter more than anybody else.
I got an example for you. I had to hit my Chinese friend with this real hard. I remember years ago I was talking about buying property. She said, no, you need to rent. I said, you know what the problem is? Every other nationality in this world tell us all we supposed to do is rent. So I asked her, why is it that y'all supposed to own property? So why is it that you feel that none of my people should own no property? I say, that's racist. You need to stop saying that. I say,
Did she
everybody can
receive it?
tell us what to do, huh? Yeah, but that's inbred in it, because mark my words, Chinese only do business with Chinese. Now, the only time I know they come over, they'll go to the rib house. Oh, look, they'll buy them, and they will buy jerk food, and they will buy some soul food. But their main consumption, Chinese insurance people, they deal with whole food because they got their money. But if it ain't white and Chinese, it's very seldom. Oh, look, and they love watermelon too. They just don't want their own telly.
Yeah. So we got work to do, and I've been posting about chocolate because that's a big battle with Western Africa. We know what's happening in right now, Nigeria. And the more Black people can inform themselves on what's happening globally, then we'll be able to start standing stronger with them, instead of letting what's happening now happen and we don't know about it. So that's it on the policy side. Now, I want to take this break here and go over the last names so people can know why this is such a big deal. So I'm going to read to y'all the last names for this month that's famous. And for those who may be hearing this for the first time, imagine us not burning out people by only asking them to do something every 6 months. So this month, here are some of the famous last names, both Black and white. Henry Ford, Jane Fonda, Harrison Ford, Megan Fox, Jamie Foxx, Morgan Freeman, Vivica Fox, Bill Gates, Richard Gere, Danny Glover, Whoopi Goldberg, Ariana Grande, Jack Harlow, Kamala Harris, T.I. Harris, Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, Hugh Hefner, Paris Hilton, Jennifer Hudson, Anthony Hamilton, Jimi Hendrix, Whitney Houston, Curtis Jackson, known as 50 Cent, Janet Jackson. Ice Cube is O'Shea Jackson, Samuel L. Jackson, LeBron James, Angelique Jolie, Steve Jobs, Dwayne, they call him The Rock Johnson, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Colin Kaepernick, R. Kelly, Alicia Keys, Shaka Khan, Jimmy Kimmel, Martin Luther King, Lenny Kravitz. When y'all hear that, what hits in your spirit when y'all hear that?
That's sure who we gave our who we gave our money to. And I mean we as a people, not personally, but
no, but so celebrities, people always come to them wanting to support whatever they're doing. With this concept, with this every 6 month concept, now they're not burdened 12 times a year. They're only burdened twice a year. In this case, February and not again to October. So that will allow them to literally, if someone hit them up any other month, they can look and see who last name is, say, get in touch with these people because it's their turn.
right.
My turn is in February and 6 months later, August. But that process prevents burnout. That's the beauty of this concept, is it prevents burnout because it's every 6 months. And I did mention Cuba Gooding Jr., Tyrese, Danny Glover, CeeLo Green. I left them out, but there's a lot of Fred Hampton Sr. That's a lot of power there, y'all. And we eventually want to get in touch with them.
Okay. Yeah, because all you asking for is a couple dollars.
Well, in their case, like you got your BBR on the west side. So for them, we want them to do a telethon with us if they listening. All we want you to do is go on TV with us and compete with some other celebrities and see who can get the most people sending in their dollar to us. So let Michael Jordan go against Whoopi Goldberg, see telethon who can get the most $1 sent into NBCU. That's what they could do to help us raise millions through the $1. For BBR, we'll tell them make that donation flat out to BBR for whatever amount they choose, but it'll be way more than the dollar we asking for,
Right.
So
that sounds like a winner. I like that idea.
Yeah, so I just want people to know we got a plan and a strategy for almost every contingency to make life better for mankind. Remember, helping Black people out helps mankind out because of the boat that we find ourselves in due to wannabe supremacy. So we only got 2 more sections here, the legal section, and then we go close it out. So on the legal side, we should be doing mock trials with our young people. The 4th Tuesday of every month is Lawyers Day. So we, no matter what, know every month what the topic is for the mock trial. And so it's funny because we got videos on YouTube of the mock trials in the past when the young people was out there competing to win over a case. And we want to see that become almost like a form of entertainment. And then we loop in the actors and actresses, and they could play the roles. But imagine what our community looks like when they have that form of entertainment and education happening with these mock trials in different zip codes all over, and they competing to win. So that, to me, the mock trials is a keeper, and it's something we got to grow. What are you guys' thoughts on the lawyer, the future young people wanting to be lawyers and getting that practice in these mock trials?
I think that would be fun because when they was doing the awakening on TV, they had got me to watching that. You know, showing me what young people do. I love to watch young people doing positive stuff because then I can brag on it. I can share it. I can speak it. I can say I saw it. I donated to it. You know.
Yeah. Governor Charles?
Yeah, well, knowing the system of that myself, as Denise said, it's a great thing to watch them in their element, and then this thing ties into what we talking about, the K through 12. So we got out of that K through 12 grade. Imagine who wants to be lawyers. The ones that doing these mock trials might want to know law, and then it's an education piece to it because they're learning law at the same time. We could get an actual lawyer to help coordinate this and have a prosecuting side and defense side. That's teaching them all the things they want to know about law, so it'll spark more interest for those that want to be, and it'll be a great thing to see communities, cities competing against cities, our youth and stuff like that. That's a big deal. That'll be a big deal. Yeah.
And for the record, St. Louis, Missouri is our national headquarters for all lawyers in America. So imagine St. Louis, for my people in St. Louis, our vision is that y'all will open up 7 offices in St. Louis, 7 offices spread out throughout the whole city. And each office is going to manage 3 cities. So one office go manage Gary, Chicago, Atlanta, and all the lawyers and the kids' mock trials. Another office go manage Miami, Birmingham, and New Orleans. Another office go manage LA and San Diego. Another office, Dallas and Memphis. Another office, Boston, Philly, DC, Norfolk, and New York City. And then the last office, Kansas City, St. Paul, and Cleveland. 7 offices so that they can work with the lawyers in each one of them cities and get them to commit to doing mock trials in the neighborhoods where the shooting and killing is happening at. That's a game changer. And St. Louis is the headquarters for that, led through Chicago's Little St. Louis. That's some powerful stuff, y'all.
Yes.
The last thing on the legal side is they knocked down affirmative action. And so because they say that's just reverse discrimination, I can just put this out there so the public would know how we're looking at this, how I'm looking at it, and you guys will vote on it if we want to move forward. But if you're saying that's a form of discrimination, if you make bilingual part of the hiring process, now you're discriminating against us because we don't know that second language. So if you're going to take the affirmative action away, to me, you're just setting yourself up to where now, if you want to not hire someone because of just who they are, you're going to hire them because they know how to do extra. To me, you're going to set yourself up for a lawsuit that could end up going higher up. What do y'all think about that?
I'm for that 100%. And then they need to get on these schools about that. When they did that, they came at them about that. What's that? Because your parent went there, donated so much money that you automatically in the college. That's discrimination too.
Yeah, they've been doing that. So yeah, that's the
right.
Pay to play. That's the click stuff. So yeah.
Right. So look, we need to put it all out there. Put it all on the table.
Excellent, excellent. Charles, you got anything on that?
Yeah, well, I think it's wrong just because you contributed with you was prestige to be able to contribute to the college that your kids get the benefit from, and everybody else that work hard don't. Yeah.
Now we got the last section is our closeout section. So in closing out, the key is we're going to start having trainings online. Possibly it might be as far away as January. Right now, we're going to be doing them at Gary Comer Center on the southeast side of Chicago every other month. And then we're going to do it on the west side, the fill-in months. But it's time for us to train our leaders on what we do, the structure, and how we do it, so that way they can start implementing it. And every time they go and implement it, it's going to make us more united on Thursday Health Day, Friday Senior Day. So that's a good thing on the future with these training and videos. This month is political convention out of Gary, Milwaukee convention out of Gary, karate convention out of Gary, and marketing convention out of Gary, Indiana. Next month is firefighters convention, which is the 2nd of September. Then we have the barber and beautician convention, which is September 9th. Then we have on the 16th of September, the poetry convention. And then the last Saturday, the 23rd, is the artists, just artwork convention out of Gary. So those are the 4 ones coming up in September. We just concluded the 4 for August. Any thoughts on that from you guys on the conventions?
Sounds great. Always is. We have a structure and a plan.
Excellent, excellent. So in closing, you guys, and I want to thank y'all for y'all time. Denise, you stayed on the whole 2 hours. I was having you from 3 to 4, so that way you could relieve, and then Charles covered from 4 to 5. But thank you for the 2 hours you put in. You equivalent with me with the whole 2. But thank you for that. And I just want to stress to people, I'm gonna read to y'all these last names of ideal what will happen in February. So February 24th is the next summit for F through K. February 24th next year is the next summit. And we hope we can have the Jones, the Kings, the Johnsons, the Harrises, the Jacksons, the Israels, the Grahams, the Gullens, the Holmans, the Hubbards, the Hatchers, the Hayes, the Gibsons, the Harpers, the Kenners, the Hogans, the Joshuas, the Hollywoods, the Howards, the Howells, the Kemps, the Halls, the Glovers, and the Holidays. You guys know who you are. I thank y'all for the support you already give us financially on the call, because we are only carve out 5 minutes for you. We hope you can just jump on for your 5 minutes, do your presentation, introduce what you do and what you need, and then get back on with your day. The purpose of the way we have this set up is the broken clock theory. It's every 6 months. And we know if people understood that, they would be more committed to it because they know it's not burning them out. So I hope if you heard your last name or anyone you didn't hear, it's any last names F through K. Can we every 6 months do something collectively with us? I get it, you're doing your own thing, but this makes it where it's more coordinated when we can do it jointly together. So that's what I wanted to make sure y'all knew. Next Saturday, February 24th, next year is when F through K will be asked to jump on again. Denise, give us your closing thoughts and perspective on what we're doing here.
Thank you for this afternoon's informative session. It has brought to light a lot of things that I might have forgotten. It's a lot of information to share, but it's a beautiful structure to where we have come from and how much farther we can go. My prayer is that anybody who wants to listen in can pick up something out of that concept and call that 312 number so it can be broken down even better. We just want the $1. And then from there, you do what you can. I thank my other governor, Charles, being on. I appreciate his information, and I'm gonna put that out there too. You're breaking the Constitution. You gave me a thought. See, I didn't even think like that. See, so you gave me that thought. I'm putting that out there. You're going against the Constitution. That's gonna be on my Facebook from now on. You're going against the Constitution. You didn't change the laws on us.
Right. Don't let me go against it, though. You know what?
And we're going to jail.
Yeah. And people, good people out there that's listening, please don't forget to donate to NBCU. And that's by either, what is it, Cash Apping? Is it Cash App?
Well, it's best to use the phone number 312-405-8844. That's the best way, both through Zelle, Cash App, or our website, nationalblockclubuniversity.com.
Yep. Please. And thank you.
All right. Well, that's going to conclude this year. for F through K. So Denise, you did your part. You always do your part. And I know your birthday is the last day of the year, but this is it from F through K perspective. So thank you. And we
You
need you,
don't pay
Governor
no
Charles.
attention to that. You don't pay no attention to that.
I know, but structure matters. So I'm just giving the structure so
Oh,
others
yeah.
would know who might listen. So they'll know we don't burn nobody out the
Sure
way we
don't.
get done. All right, you guys.